was walking through the mezzanine feeling disappointed. $675. That ticket was not a scalper. That was what WWE was charging. The price of your seat is no longer based on what the show is worth. It's based on how badly they think you want to be there.
It really reminds me of radio. The matches are secondary. It's the ads. This really reminded me of WCW.
Too many hands in the pot, bro.
Too many.
At what point does loyalty become complicity? Are we the silent majority that keeps accepting less and enabling this?
Don't come at me with no bullshit. Use caution.
HHW fam, what's good? Thank you for joining us. My name is VSOP, and I'm with my mans in them.
Stephen Gold, beautiful people, what's good?
County, for those that don't know, it is Wake County's finest, the Carolina legend himself, Madison Jay. How are you doing, good people?
So before we get into anything, just straight up, how did you guys feel about Elimination Chamber live from Chicago? We'll start with Madison Jay. What were your thoughts on the show?
Overall, I'm giving the show a B-. Thought it was a very exciting show. I think WWE, wrestling in general, especially live, very exciting. And it was a very exciting show. I have to take some points just off of, while it was exciting, it did have traces of just, a little bit of redundancy. Some of the Elimination Chamber within itself has lost its luster, just in terms of the mystique of what the legacy of the Elimination Chamber is. And not trying to go too deep or nostalgic pause and whatnot, but I think it's just a thing of, hey, this is a thing that was almost on a Hell in a Cell level, just in terms of brutality. And now it's just become more of a cute little, it's not the same chamber, but also at the same time, it's kind of evolved into this showcase, almost like a Money in the Bank kind of thing, of where you're looking for who's the next up and coming contenders in the world title scene. And obviously with the lineup of guys that they had, you can tell that, hey, these are the future as well as the past and the present. And I think Elimination Chamber is usually kind of indicative of like what that pecking order is going to be or is. I thought that the men's chamber for me was a little bit better. I thought that the women definitely did their thing, definitely bust their ass. I thought both of them were really good. I like the men's just because of the chaos, especially towards the end. Of course, there's going to be some type of shenanigans going on. I don't like the fact of like, hey, you have the chamber. The chamber should be kind of more something that keeps outside people out. So just the fact of you had multiple people that were able to run in, it's the defeating the purpose of the actual chamber. But yeah, just kind of overall, I'm going to go with the B- for the Elimination Chamber.
It does seem less violent than it used to be. But with the injury bug, possibly they're trying to be careful. That might be one way of looking at it. But Gold, I would love to hear your thoughts on Elimination Chamber.
I'm going to give it a B. I feel exactly what Madison Jay is saying about like the prestige of it. The prestige of it kind of went down a little bit, but in the metaphorical way, I would like to think the Elimination Chamber in comparison to like the NBA All-Star game. All right, so these are the people that's like really popping right now in wrestling who made it to the chamber. These are the people that we're trying to set up who's going to be like the future WWE champion. So they put them all together in that chamber to see like what they can do. Is they going to slam dunk? Or are they really good with the three? Just to see how their talent is and see how they can like bond chemistry with other like superstars, which I agree with them again. Like the women killed it once again. The men did good, but the women, they had just really been stepping it up in the last few Elimination Chambers, man. Shout out to Kiana James. I think that's like the first time I actually seen her like really do her thing. I did like the surprise too. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I guess we're gonna get to that later. And I had to do some research, and I'm like, you know what? This might be fun. I want to see where they go with it. I like how LA Knight and CM Punk was paying homage to the Bulls. That was super cool, especially with Punk coming out to the Bulls theme. Same thing with LA Knight, had on like the flu game boots, paying homage to Jordan. So altogether, I give it a B. I really enjoy watching it.
Kiana James, 2 for 2 in terms of big shows, high profile, where she looked really good. Danhausen, first thing I thought was, I wonder does Gold even know who Danhausen is? I myself love Danhausen. I find him to be extremely entertaining. Go check out his YouTube channel. That guy's funny. There's no way he's not going to get over. I just don't know if that building was the place to debut him. There was boos after he was done, and I was surprised by that. I think this was a different type of fan base at this particular show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get into that a little bit later, who probably wouldn't know who Danhausen is. But no doubt in my mind, Danhausen will get over. and he can be the raw version of R-Truth, pretty much. I don't expect him to be a superstar in terms of like winning matches or high-profile titles, but I do see him to be a very pivotal, important, entertaining character to break the monotony in a lot of ways. And I think his merchandise is going to sell. Kids are going to love him. And then he'll have like some special tag team matches to shine, Danhausen and Penta. And he starts putting curses on people. The curses thing's going to get over. Madison J, do you have an opinion of Danhausen?
At first, I was familiar with his small body of work in AEW, of what he was able to do. I didn't know he had a history prior to that. I was kind of like Gold, how he was now back then. So I was like, who the hell is Danhausen? And like, what's so special about this guy? He looks funny, you know what I mean? And then once I got the whole shtick, I said, okay, because the thing with wrestling, it's a place really for everything. And with Danhausen, like you said, yes, like I'm not expecting this guy to go in and be a world champion or to do anything like that. But in terms of character driven, he is most definitely going to flourish and shine in the WWE ecosystem, because it's just kind of, it's a perfect, a perfect blend. Anybody kind of going in and expecting him to be an actual wrestler, I mean, you might be a little bit disappointed, but in terms of what Danhausen is going to bring in with his antics and just his whole brand, it is definitely going to be one of those things that's going to provide a nice boost to the WWE, and I guess to a degree TKO brand. But yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some funny stuff going on, and I'm definitely looking forward to what we got coming.
I am too. Like I said, I did my research and went and watched some interviews with him and stuff, and this guy, I'm a nerd. I ain't gonna front. I'm a nerd. Like, so like the way he said he put his face paint, what it represents and all
Right.
that, I'm like, wow, I got that. Cause as soon as I saw his face paint, I'm like, man, that looks like The Exorcist. He was like, yeah. He was like, oh, people don't know that your face paint is from The Exorcist. I was like, I knew it. You know what I'm saying? Like just little things like that. And it feels like the monsters / like old school horror. And he was talking about that's what he was a fan of. I was like, it makes sense.
Right.
I thought his entrance was great. I thought the music was fitting. WWE style production with Danhausen. Can't go wrong. Can't wait to see his first interaction with R-Truth. I hope they become a tag team and go for the tag titles.
Why not?
Tag titles don't mean any goddamn way.
Why not?
Hot potato.
So Madison J, you're giving it a B minus. Gold, you're giving it a B. I want to be as positive as possible, but I might talk a little here.
Okay.
Hey, you was there live, man.
Right.
Because I was there live, so I kind of want to, after I give a little bit of personal context from my experience, I kind of want to come back and compare and contrast what it was like watching it on TV. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to act like I'm entitled. I knew, and Gold, we talked about this before I even bought a plane ticket to go to Chicago. I said, I know what I'm getting into. It's going to be a 4-match show. All right, cool. I accepted that. I was just thinking like, all right, I've never seen Elimination Chamber live. That's like the one gimmick match that I haven't seen that I got to scratch off the list. But the ticket price was preposterous to sit where I was. Preposterous. I knew it was going to be a 4-match show. Last year was a 4-match show. And it was one of the best Elimination Chambers they ever done. And I was thinking like, hopefully they can match that energy, minus Cena and The Rock.
Right.
Maybe they can match that energy at least with effort. And I got to be quite honest. I was walking through the mezzanine feeling disappointed. I was feeling disappointed. I don't think that I got my money's worth from a live perspective. Let me just go into a little bit more context. That exact seat that I sat in, lower bowl, which is where I prefer to sit, $675. That ticket was not a scalper or StubHub resale ticket. That was what WWE was charging. In the entire lower bowl, the seats that were available were all in that $600 range. Ringside was $4,000.
$4,000?
And then as you go further back, it goes to like $1,300, then to $900. I thought to myself, wow. When I look at what I paid for this show, 4 matches, 83 minutes of wrestling, 3-hour show, damn, could I get another chunk of that extra 97 minutes? So from a live perspective, maybe there was things going on backstage or video packages I didn't see to kind of kill time. But when you have a Elimination Chamber match, like the women's match was like 23 minutes long. And again, while it was entertaining, it didn't hold a candle to last year's version. And they spent 15 minutes doing entrances.
Yeah.
The men's match was 25 minutes long, nowhere near the level of last year's show. 17 minutes of entrances. Like they actually stretched it out. You got to go and walk to every pod and look inside of it and all this extra shit, right?
Yeah, I was noticing that too. I'm like, okay, what they doing, man?
Again, and I want to throw in some positives. I was happy to see the young talent like Trick Williams and Javon Evans live. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah.
So I won't complain about that. And I'm glad that they got a chance to shine. But I wanted a little bit more. I left wanting more. I did not feel like I got my money's worth for the price that they charged for that show, for the amount of wrestling and effort that they gave me for, what's considered to be a very pivotal and important event for the road to WrestleMania. Don't want to complain again. I knew what I signed up for. I knew it before I got there, so I'm not trying to complain. This ain't about complaining. This is more about trying to get an understanding of where WWE's direction is going. Because they still had 19,000 fans in the building, but it didn't feel like it. Part of the reason why I chose this Elimination Chamber was because it was in Chicago. Which Chicago, out of all U.S. cities, typically is the most rowdy. But I think because of these prices, those rowdy fans couldn't go. It's a new type of fan.
Yeah.
It's a new type of fan that WWE is trying to pull in, who got the money, but they ain't got, I ain't gonna say they ain't got the love. That's a bold statement. But I bet if the tickets were the old prices, Danhausen would have got a much bigger reception than he got.
So you don't think it's the fans? You think it's just like the newbies? See CM Punk wrestle in this home city to defend the championship? Yeah.
That crowd should have been lit for that match, and they weren't.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
I expected the roof to blow off. That didn't happen. Part of the live experience is the energy from the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're pricing a lot of the hardcores out. And I just wanted to give you a quote from Mark Shapiro. So Nick Khan is the boss. Triple H is the creative boss. And then Mark Shapiro is who's leading their financial strategy. TKO Chief Operating Officer Mark Shapiro at a conference back in September 2024. He said, WWE is not where UFC is yet on the ticket yield. We have our work to do there. We know we have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families, and he wasn't focused on maxing the opportunity there. Now that we've seen what we can do with UFC, we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield. So ticket yield, that is airline language, hotel language, the system that charges you $300 for a seat on Monday and then $600 for the same exact seat on Friday because the demand goes up. Dynamic pricing. I saw it with WrestleMania 41, which is why I didn't go. And what it means for wrestling fans is quite simple, that the price of your seat is no longer based on what the show is worth. It's based on how badly they think you want to be there. And according to the man running TKO, they haven't even hit their ceiling yet. So he already told us the direction that they're going. Now, I would still argue that UFC and wrestling fans are two different audiences still.
It is.
Vince McMahon charged for family entertainment. Hence Elimination Chamber costing more than 2 nights at WrestleMania 40 combined. That is crazy to me.
Well, I told you how much my ticket jumped since I bought mine. When I bought mine, it was $4, and now it's like $725.
And that's interesting, and that's why I want to bring up that quote. This is their policy now. This is the direction that they're going. But now on top of that, we got the dynamic pricing. What does that say about trying to get fans in the building, right? That's why I kind of want to talk to you guys about what is value. What is the sweet spot for a wrestling show, assuming that you paid a premium to see it live? Your scenario goes, you paid, $400 to sit on the floor for SmackDown? You came back to look at that same section, it jumped up to $700. Had you not bought the ticket then, when you got it for the price you got it, would you have still went, or would you?
Hell no.
Hell no.
No, I wouldn't pay. I mean, that's like a PLE like price. You know what I'm saying? If it was a PLE, cool, but just for SmackDown, nah.
So think about the PLE. Right now, the new format, the new policy, It's 4-match shows. It's pretty much been that standard for the secondary PLEs since mid last year. WrestlePalooza, there was a couple shows that may have had 5 matches, but for the most part, it's been a solid 4. Now, the Rumble, I don't mind at all because the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble are both hour-long matches, minimum. And they can still put a decent undercard with the other 2 matches. And I know, Madison, I know you said in a podcast we did a while back, you felt some type of way about when fans complain about the amount of wrestling on the show because people still want to get up and get concessions and use the bathroom and get some food. But in the case of Elimination Chamber, if you were in the seat that I was sitting in, would you have felt that you got the value from that show? Would your B- still stand from a live perspective?
Oh, from a live perspective, honestly, just taking into account from your POV, it probably would have went down to definitely probably around a C. Just the fact of taking a few things into account in terms of, hey, understanding what this new era of WWE is, mind you, in terms of even addressing them as PLEs, the monthly pay-per-view, hey, it's a PLE. We address it as such. Down to the match, we grew up with cards that were anywhere from 6 to 10, 6 just being generous. So when we're seeing these 4 and 5, it is a little bit different because, mind you, we know that outside of the match length, what we're doing is we're getting a lot of advertising. A lot of marketing and promotion is going in. Mind you, we've always been beat with marketing and promotion in wrestling. That's something that's literally gone, especially from the 80s, the mid 80s and up, even the early 80s, but from that mid 80s and up, it's been a lot of advertising and promotion and marketing. But just in the sense of now, it's just clearly blatant. You know what I mean? And I think WWE is entered a space where they just, hey, bro, we don't give a how you feel about it. You know what I mean? This is what it is, like it or not. And I think that's an injection of at lethal poison. At but it's that TKO. The TKO is the NWO of that 2002, storyline. That's literally what is going on because just these drastic changes has really taken. If WWE prior to this the merger and whatnot, if people thought WWE was on a different type of level, now we're really seeing like, okay, you guys are just squeezing all the juice out, taking all the season, all the flavor out, and just giving us like, a little bit of blah. And just I think for the fact of guys like us, you know, just blah. It's guys like us who are just extremely dedicated. I mean, we just not saying we're like, fuck it, we'll just accept whatever, but we're dedicated to wrestling. So even just with music, we're still absorbing and listening and, taking in. It's the same thing with wrestling as well. We love this thing so much, but we're seeing a shell of what we grew up with watching. And it's seeing these things firsthand live and just to see even Netflix, you know what I'm saying? Just this whole situation. It's just I was thinking about this the other day. I said, man, is there a possibility that WWE could go into, if they're not already in, like a dark age of where it's just like, hey, people are not coming to the shows, they're not spending that bread, people are not buying the PLEs, people are not subscribing or not tuning in on their subscription state, Netflix and all. What will it take for also people to kind of flip the switch on WWE just to be like, hey, this is not what we're doing. You know what I mean? We're not going to pay these crazy exorbitant amount of prices. Like, you guys need to get reasonable and meet fans in the middle somewhere because just how the future is looking, me personally, I'm pretty much almost tapped out. You know what I mean? I'm on the last arm of going down, and I don't think a ref is going to be able to catch it because it's just a lot of things that are just, I don't know, man.
It's too much, bro.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Even with the I'm a fan, bro. Like, y'all know I'm a fan, but this $40 a month shit, it's ridiculous, man. It's crazy, bro. Like, because I mean, I watch sports, but I ain't watching sports like that. So I'm basically watching it just for the shows, every month. It's just, I ain't complaining, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, goddamn, man. Like I miss when the was just like $10 on Peacock.
Right.
And there's still a huge segment of wrestling fans who do not watch any other team sports or even single sports.
Yeah.
Who are forced to pay for this premium app until ESPN figures out how to negotiate that with cable packages. But if you don't have cable, you got the cord cut, you're still in a predicament because you have to pay unless you have, nefarious capers and other ways of
Right.
seeing seeing the programming. But yeah, to your point, once upon a time, a 10-match card was the norm. Then it got to 8, then it got to 7, got to 6. All right, we're still treading on a good amount of value for the show. But I think 4, if you're going to give us 4, you got to give us maybe some things in between, some angles, some storyline progression, some cameos, something, and at least fill up the wrestling past 90 minutes if you can.
VS, can I ask you this? Were there any incentives with your seat?
You got a CM Punk towel, didn't you?
I got a hand towel. Yeah, see a little WWE 2K26, which comes out on Friday. I pre-ordered it, so I can't wait to play it.
Okay.
But a hand towel, little hand towel, and then someone dropped theirs, and I took theirs too.
Straight up, let me get that.
Thank you kindly.
United Center is still a great building to be, 30 years old. It's modernized, renovated, and it's really large scale. WWE doesn't even normally run that building. They run the All-State Center
Right, the All-State.
most of the time. I came with high expectations of what they were going to deliver. And I think maybe if I was at home and I watched it on TV, my sentiment would be a little bit different. But I just couldn't help but feel, disappointed. I think they can make up for it, but it just presented to me what I see to be a bigger problem, especially if they decide to start scaling back 2-night WrestleManias and 2-night SummerSlams to 5 matches or 4 matches. I'll be really with the brand.
Yeah.
So
like just going back to what I said, man, I just feel like the All-Star game, so hopefully that like they're experimenting and then they'll find something to make this more exciting again and bring the prestige back like they did. I mean, I still don't watch the NBA All-Star game, but supposedly, people told me it was a little better this year because they had certain setups to where it was a little bit more competitive. That was a problem. It was just kind of like nobody was really being competitive in the previous ones.
Yeah. Plus, they started changing the format of the All-Star game and even the All-Star weekend. I kind of just started to tap out to it. But if you told me something was dope, if there was a dope highlight, I'll go back and catch it on the rebound. No pun intended. But sitting and watching the entire game and awaiting who's going to get the MVP trophies, that's not my thing. So back to what is value? What do you find valuable? What is the sweet spot? I'm not asking to go back to 10-match cards. I'm not asking them to run 4 hours either. 3 hours is more than enough time to do something great. The question is, what do you do with it? Because 97 minutes of non-wrestling is a choice. They chose to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that time is being filled with video packages and stalling and entrances that run longer than some matches. And then moments that could have just aired on Raw. So from the live perspective, while I'm just sitting there waiting for the next match to start, what were you guys seeing on television in between matches?
Advertisements.
Damn.
Yeah, that is literally almost it really reminds me of radio. You know what I mean?
100%.
It reminds me of radio. It's really, the matches are secondary. You know what I mean? Just like the music on radio is secondary. It's the ads.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those companies have invested in WWE. Hey, we got those eyes watching. Promote. You know what I mean? Market this stuff to those eyes, and they're doing a great job of what their job is, to advertise and market and promote. Doing a great job of that, but at the expense of who? Us. You know what I mean? The actual consumer of the main thing of what we're trying to watch, which is the wrestling.
We'll be right back. We're pay some bills.
Come on now. Mind you, we've grown up under this. Again, there's really nothing new under the sun. But it's just a thing of like, hey, again, it's just very blatant. It's just like, you're wasting all this time. VS, to kind of, I think, honestly, especially for it, you have to meet the needs for value for those watching and those in attendance. And I think for those in attendance, if you're doing this, mind you, you're raising up prices and things of that nature, you're going to have to give. So basically, you're going to either have to add some more matches to these cards, mind you, you have a plentiful roster. There shouldn't even be an excuse of like, it's not like, oh, the roster's depleted and we only got like 12 guys on the roster and we have to run 4 matches. No, you have a plentiful roster that's on 2 different main rosters. You have NXT. So it shouldn't be any excuse of like, hey, we don't have the workers. You have the workers, you have the time.
100%.
So it's like you guys, and again, going to people that are in attendance, like I said, yes. Hey, what did you get? Were you able to get a chair? Were you able to get like, a towel? To me, that's not enough. You know what I mean? There needs to be
Right.
a free program. Hey, that towel, maybe a autograph poster, not things that necessarily have to go to the gift stand or something like that to get. No, we appreciate you for coming out. Thank you. Here you go. Here's, might be some cheap stuff, but here's a few items just to kind of get you throughout your day.
A goddamn koozie or something, man.
There's literally a laundry list of items that could just, a keychain, just taking it back to something simple as that. Like, but just to show that appreciation, people taking their hard-earned money to invest. And it's very interesting because this is the first platform that I've seen, not saying I check everybody out, but that's really addressed that elephant in the room. Just, hey, what type of fan are you looking to bring in going forth in the future? And that's just crazy because these prices, they're getting the traditional fan, they're packing them up and getting them out of here because traditional is definitely going to be like, hey, bro, what? This is crazy. But the new casual is going to be like, okay, well, we've always assumed that WWE is the destination to be. This is where it's at. We're going to invest. It's more of an event more than like the culture aspect of it, of just that appreciation of pro wrestling.
Bingo.
No, we're just here like as if it's free tickets to a baseball game. We're just going to go, or hey, we got free tickets to go to this, but you're paying high-end dollar to be a part of something that you think is the end thing to do. Mind you, we're getting those celebrities as if it's the end thing to do. We've got Shad Moss, Bow Wow, he's here. Come join us at WWE Raw next week as we're in Cleveland, Ohio. It's not the thing of just like, hey, mind you, the crowd was the star. Camera swinging. Look at this ruckus crowd here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's going crazy. That was the thing of, I need to be a part of that. But now they're going to a thing of like a UFC. They're showing these people like, hey, such and such is in the crowd. Such and such is in the crowd. You need to be a part of this. But we're I don't know, man. As much as love wrestling, WWE is just moving in a direction of just where it's not conducive at all. And I do think in a period of a certain amount of years, they're going to get a backlash to where it's going to get them to go belly up, or they're going to have to like make some type of drastic change.
Back in February, they did a weekend promotion for WrestleMania because they still haven't sold the building out yet. Hopefully they still will, but right now they haven't. There's lots of tickets available. So they did a 25% off promotion for a weekend, which I believe I find it insulting to the people who've already bought their tickets. But if it's a dynamic price where Monday price and Friday price ain't gonna be the same, then fuck it, right?
Right.
WWE is not doing anything illegal. It's just the optics are pretty trash.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't got to take me to Ruth Chris, baby. You can take me to Applebee's.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Shouldn't be anything wrong with that, right?
So they did the promotion for 25% off, and it still didn't gain them much traction. And so I don't know what they're going to do, but they really got to work on putting this card together and making sure it's dope enough to sell out the building. Another thing that was brought to my attention while I was on the airplane, a gentleman sitting next to me, I was watching Raw on my iPad just to get caught up before I got to the show. Yeah. And he asked me, he said, hey, are you going to the event? And I was like, yeah, are you? He was like, well, no, I was supposed to go to a watch party. But WWE went to all the bars and establishments that were hosting watch parties, which they were selling tickets for people to come in and watch, buy food and drink, probably a 2-drink minimum or something like that. And they banned them from doing that. They blocked it. Yeah, they blocked all the local Chicago establishments from hosting watch parties. So this guy was flying to Chicago I thought he was flying to Chicago for nothing. He said, "Well, I still got tickets to go to some type of meet and greet." I said, "Okay, well, I guess you're getting something out of it," but
Yo, that's wild.
that's trash. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
wild, yo.
Yeah. So they're doing the same thing in Vegas for WrestleMania. They're blocking all the watch parties.
Nosedive.
I mean, how's that legal though?
I think there's some type of license involved with a bar getting a pay-per-view and then showing it showing it to their patrons for a cover charge.
That is crazy, bro. Like that has to be some kind of like damn clause in that, bro. Like if my establishment, if I have a paying, like if I'm paying for ESPN and I want to put this in my bar, bro, that's crazy, bro. You telling me I can't?
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I'm not with this at all because you know what I'm saying, but I do understand because it's equivalent goal to like, okay, someone buys your music, right? But then they're like, okay, let me basically like, yo, on some bootlegger like, hey, bro, I bought the album, but I'm about to make copies of the album. And then,
Right.
they're going to hit you with the, well, dude, I did buy your album. I did support it. I feel like I bought it. It's mine. I should be able to do whatever I want with it. Should be able to make multiple copies, but it's like, hey, bro, that's my intellectual property and like that. No, you can't just go and make copies of it. But at the same time, on the flip side, it's like, hey, bro, WWE, this is helping you. You know what I'm saying? This is help promote the brand, help promote the company. Why wouldn't you want people to just be like, okay, hey, because then that'll create the incentive of, well, let me buy this at home. I want to watch this and experience it at home, or I would like to invest in it some other way. Let me go to a live event. I felt good, invigorated seeing in an atmosphere like a bar or, something of that nature. Let me go live. So you're cutting off a pipeline for people to be more invested.
I guess from a business standpoint, I can say it because it's
just
like,
from the business.
Yeah, if I'm showing the show, you know what I'm saying, like is gonna want to go watch it. Say like Sports and Social got like 1,000 screens and they're all huge. Like they're gonna pay money to come see that Elimination Chamber on a big ass screen, and they're gonna buy beer and they're gonna buy food and shit, man. They're gonna enjoy themselves. So it's kind of like they're making money off of.
But it wasn't a problem before.
Right.
So why are you trying to jump on it now? Like that's crazy to me.
TKO.
Okay, so this is where I'm like, okay, but people have UFC watch parties.
Right. I've been to plenty of them back in the day.
That's where
I used to go. Yeah, me too. I used to go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
That's how I used to watch UFC fights. Honestly, was going to to a bar or something like that of that nature. That's where I'm kind of I had to scratch my head. Like, what on the other company that's on your umbrella, you allow those watch parties, so are you now about to go into a space of where you're going to block all these watch parties? Because I'm confused. But also, I know that WWE has some exclusive contract to have theaters and certain such. So I guess maybe they may be trying to push people to go to those exclusive places to watch it, which I do get. But again, you're doing more harm than good by stopping these watch parties.
And I don't know if the UFC watch party dynamic has changed since they got their Paramount deal.
Right. Okay.
Remember, we're not doing traditional pay-per-view no more through DirecTV, blah, blah, blah. So possibly it's a thing since they're on streaming. The streaming services also might have a different model to where it's no bueno. I don't get it, but I thought that was just kind of strange they would do that. Again, another way to just alienate your base and kind of like disappoint your base,
Definitely.
your fan base. It's weird to me. Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love, Bruce Pritchard, he's defending the 4-match PLE. Matter of fact, he says that 4 matches is optimal. And his argument is that every TV appearance now generates rights fees, revenue, so the incentive to pack the card is gone. And another thing that was brought up in that interview that he was doing is that the talent does not get paid the same way. Their contracts are pretty much what they are, whether they're opening the show or closing the show. So fighting to get on the card and having a match at the card has no reflection on their paycheck. Even a WrestleMania payday really doesn't matter anymore. And once upon a time, it really did matter to get that WrestleMania payday.
Yeah. Kurt, they're gonna say that would get like a bonus $50,000 to $60,000.
Right. So they've changed the structure of paying their talent. So now it's not about who draws the house, it's about the brand drawing the house.
Yeah.
I disagree like a but Dutch Mantel, Memphis legend, his counter is that 6 or 7 matches is the sweet spot. So I want to ask you guys, in your mind, for a 3-hour PLE, whether you're watching it at home or watching it live, what do you think is more important, the number of matches, the amount of time that you get wrestling, or the moments that come out of the show? And we'll start with Madison J.
So if we could just, we won't even go super far. We'll just, we'll go into the beginning of the millennium, year 2000. So mind you, we're going into WrestleMania season, WrestleMania 2000. Mind you, that card was, it was pretty stacked in terms of the matches, like involvement, a lot of four ways, a lot of triple threats. We in those years since then, we've encountered a lot of WrestleMania cards to where the cards are very large. Mind you, this is the event that is a culmination of basically a year-long period, your season finale, if you will.
Right.
If you even just PLEs in general, like if the
Mhm.
season is the month, we won't even go WrestleMania, but we'll just say like Elimination Chamber. So that whole monthly cycle, 3 to 4 weeks, is a period of, hey, okay, we're starting a chapter and we're getting to the end of the book or the end of the chapter with such PLE.
Mhm.
If you have, again, we're looking at the rosters for SmackDown and Raw, plentiful, because you have at least a title per division. You have about three on the men's, three on the women, maybe 4 and 4, give or take. But all these storylines involving these things, you don't want to have them have a what's considered the final, the culmination of these battles and whatnot. You don't want to have them come ahead at the PLE. Mind you, you're using the show as the build up to these things. So if you have, again, all these, and I know these guys are in tune with online with what the internet is saying and speaking on and things, that podcasts and all this. And you guys are hearing this a lot. You guys, hey, such and such isn't being used, such and such isn't being used, such and such isn't being used, such and such is stuck in catering, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like, bro, you have this whole platform of a PLE that could have them working, doing their thing, and yet you're still trying to squeeze out these 4 matches and sometimes 5. But again, I really just think it all boils down to advertising. You know what I mean? Hey, if we only have 4 matches, all of them ranging anywhere from probably like 10 to 25 minutes, guess what? We're squeezing out commercials and everything as much as we can in those open periods. So I think they just don't even give a damn about having people on the card in terms of wrestling, but just more like, hey, we're going to give them enough, just something to watch, but also like we have to make sure that we get those ads in, to just utilize all these eyes that we're getting. So I think unless it's something that's really bought up by the people, they're just going to keep giving us these smaller cards, and they're just going to keep, I think they'll get smaller, but they're just going to keep getting more ad friendly events as time goes on.
I agree with you 100%. And I also, we need to add in that nowadays people's attention spans is bro.
It's true.
So I think that's a major part too, and they know that. So they try to half and half it. You know what I'm saying? Like half, like quality over quantity, right? That's the name of the game.
Mm.
So I think the reason they do that is they want to give you a quality show in this amount of time that they got, but also, like you said, they want to pay bills too, squeezing those commercials, whatever. But the average person attention span, man, just I'm sure you probably saw it. Yeah, so when you was at Elimination Chamber, I'm sure you saw people on their phone like
Uh-huh.
doing matches, didn't you?
Uh-huh. 100%.
So I think they playing off of that too, man. They know people's attention spans ain't like it used to be,
Mm.
so they just try to curve that time, man, to like give them something enough to keep their attention just enough time so they can watch the show.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Gold. That is a reality of all facets that
Yeah.
people really have to face. Is just like, bro, and VS, I promise I'm not even trying to cut you off, but just really like, damn, that was a gem right there, bro.
That resonates.
Because it's just the reality of where we're at in 2026 and where we've been at for a few years. Like, bro, this thing right here, it's a very powerful thing. You know what I mean? It's changed the game of even how we watch wrestling, because just being honest, I watch wrestling literally through my phone. You know what I mean? It's maybe 10%, 15 that I watch it on a television, but just of how I came up watching wrestling, it's not how I watch wrestling now. Just a lot of things they've just changed just because of society. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to rush home Monday to watch, watch Raw anymore. I could watch it on my own time. I could watch it on Tuesday now. I could watch it on, you know what?
Friday night if I want
Friday
to.
night if I wanted to, even though that's the traditional time of maybe SmackDown. The same thing, you know what I mean? I because of the technology, but I'm not gonna lie, bro, that's just so real, because that is the reality. Like, not trying to be funny, I will fast forward segments because I'm like, let me, you know what I mean? Let me get through that real quick. Okay. What'd you say?
Yep.
Oh, okay, let me watch these 7 minutes, and then it's like, all right, bet, let me fast forward. And I'm just being honest also at the same time. I still have a love and care for the culture of taking time to, I'll go back and watch an old SummerSlam 92 pay-per-view, but then it's like, okay, SummerSlam 2023, it's like, I dare not go back and watch that or something like that. What? Why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm doing like a review or something like that, but just casually, no. But again, that is just something that is just the reality of where we are at as a society. And it's funny because we'll say like, oh, hell nah, give me 9, 8, 10 matches, but realistically, are you going to be focused on that? You know what I mean?
Only the like true fans, man, and it got to be depending on who's on the card.
Right. And that's a great point you brought up, Gold. Excellent point. Leads me to actually a little bit more of Bruce Pritchard's reasoning of why the PLEs, and it actually ties to what you just said, Gold. So that's actually a great segue. His position is that 4 to 5 matches is an optimal number for a modern WWE PLE, and he has a few reasons for it. The audience retention argument. With 10 match cards, fans in the building and at home start to mentally check out. And by the time you get to the main event, people have forgotten what happened in the matches 3 and 4. Fewer matches means that every match stays in the viewer's memory. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah. Like I said, it depends on the fan. If you're a diehard fan, man, then you locked in. But after about, I say for me, I'll be good with 5 or 6 matches. That's doable.
I think 6 is my sweet spot.
Yeah, but after that, 7, 8, 9, it's like,
yeah.
Now,
what time is it?
Bruce, he says a lot of things that's like, and it's funny, I like guys like that. He reminds me of like Steve Stout. They'll say some stuff that you'll just be like, man. But then when you actually analyze, sit back and think, you will like, he's got a good point though. He's got a good point. And Bruce does. And it's just, again, what we were just discussing prior to reading that quote. It's literally just, it's the nature of the beast that we're in now. And that's one thing that I think about with AEW, that even though, you guys have like incredible matches, it's to the point of where it's like the matches are so incredible that you have so many that I forget, like, they're not as impactful, because it's just, it's so much incredibleness that it's like, well, damn, if everything's incredible, what separates something from being those moments and things of that nature? So when I go back and look at like, damn, that was, they had some incredible matches and whatnot, but just things do not stand out on that side.
Yeah.
And that's really, it is a bad thing, but that's just, again, my thing that I'm like, okay, that gem that Bruce had dropped, that, imagine if they just cut some of those cards by like 4, you know what I mean? 3 to 4 matches. It'll be so incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like, okay, now we're talking about bona fide classics, because you're able to like let it resonate and sit. But every week you can't give me a banger every week, because again, the value of that banger is going to go out the window. And also because it's 2026, I'm thinking about the next thing next week.
Yeah.
It's not sitting.
And it's a great point.
Yes.
It's equivalent to, man, like if you like, those big ass tomahawk steaks when you go to like the crazy
Yes, sir.
steakhouses. It's like, all right, I can eat a little bit of shit and enjoy it, but if I eat this whole shit, man, it's gonna be too much, and I'm gonna hate
Right.
myself. I can't enjoy it.
Glutton. You know what I mean?
I mean, Elimination Chamber 2025 was only 4 matches, but we still talk about that show to this day.
Quality
But
work.
mainly because of the moments.
Right.
And you guys know I'm team AEW, and I love getting my money's worth, my $40 on every pay-per-view. But Madison, you bring up a great point there too. As much as I love all these bangers they do on one show, they could cut it back a skosh.
You know?
just a skosh.
Just a skosh.
I was talking to Nick the other day because we're going to Revolution because it's here in LA again.
Okay.
It was here last year.
Shout out to Nick
It's here
too,
this
man.
year. Shout out to Nick Atrocious. And, we're looking forward to that. And by the way, for more context about my Chicago ticket, I'm going to AEW Revolution with 5 of my friends for less than what my one Elimination Chamber ticket is.
Damn.
And sitting in pretty much in the same area.
That's crazy.
Ain't that some Tony Khan, don't you get no ideas. But I digress. We were going over the card last year. We don't remember much from last year, and it might be due to what you just said, Madison Jay, about them giving too much. There's certain matches I do remember off the top of my head, but I'm looking at the card like, wait a minute, Kenny Omega versus Takeshita, we saw that? Why do I not remember that?
That's what I'm saying. I promise you, it's numerous. There's an account that I follow on Twitter, and they all, they're very pro AEW, which I love. And they always bring up like 3 years ago today, and they'll bring up something, and I'll be like, oh my, that happened. I'm like, damn, I forgot about that match. And it's like,
Right.
mind you, of course, the AEW match quality is a banger, but I'm just like, damn, bro, I started seeing so many of those posts, and I'm like, a lot of these matches, I feel like, and this is not even pandemic matches. These are just matches that were like, literally, like I said, 3 years ago, which is only 2023. I'm like, damn, I don't remember these matches. You know what I'm saying? And I think, again, it's going to all the points that we're mentioning. Again, it's just a culture of where we're at. Like, what's the next thing after? We're not sitting with stuff like we used to back in the day, not even just 10 years ago. Again, we're moving at a very quick rate. So it's just like you have to create or have to have that environment of where people are. And even with AEW, I'm not saying that because their fan base, mind you, some of them can bring these matches up, but again, they're just the same way with WWE people who are very in tune with the history and all that. But just off of, again, people who are following both, it's just, again, bro, I'm like, you guys, I'm slow down with the bangers. You know what I mean? Slow down with the bangers just because you want to make sure that people are able to absorb all this stuff. And again, like you said, VS, like high key, I do remember that they had a match. It just was like, I didn't know it was that soon, like at Revolution last year. I thought it would have been 2 years ago or maybe even 3, just to hear that. And mind you, I already know the match slapped. I don't even need to ask if it did. It's just like, damn, that would be equivalent to like a Bret Hart and like Hakushi or something. You know what I mean? Mind you, even though that was an in your house match, it's still revered years later. That you know what I mean? Even though Takeshita is on a higher level than Hakushi and whatnot, but regardless, I'm just like, damn, bro, please just slow down because I don't want their matches to be, we want to be able to absorb and remember like, yo, man, you remember when Swerve and Omega had, bro, they just had a match just casually on damn Dynamite, which I'm not against, but it's like.
That was a pay-per-view match they gave away for free.
And which Tony does that, which is, it's funny because it's like it's the difference, the Democrat Republican thing. It's like, he understands like, okay, if WWE isn't doing this, let me do that over here. Let me give y'all these high quality matches for free on TV. But also at the same time, not trying to be like a booker or nitpick. It's just like, damn, certain matches, damn, why not just save it for a pay-per-view?
Keep it in the tuck,
man.
Keep
it in the tuck. But that would be like, again, VS's point, even though it's not a pay-per-view or a PLE, it's like getting that money's worth while that ticket that you paid for, hey, getting that money's worth. Just at Blood and Guts in November, I felt like I got my money's worth and more at that event. So that just feels good to know, like, okay, I did pay money, invest in your product, and I got something in return.
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard does have a point.
He does.
I can't knock it. All right, so I mentioned Mark Shapiro, right? He's making the business decisions, and Nick Khan is running the corporate strategy. But most casual fans have absolutely no idea who either of those people are. But everybody knows Triple H. Right? He's been with WWE for 30 years. He is the face of creative. He's the person that the fan base trusts or trusted. He's all over the video packages for WrestleMania advertising. He's the voice of the opener, the entrance opener of every WWE show. And I think he's going to absorb all the heat for these decisions that TKO is making that may not even be entirely his to make. The ticket pricing strategy, that's Shapiro. The rights fees model, that's just TKO business structure. But me leaving Chicago feeling like I didn't get my money's worth, I'm not thinking about those guys. I'm thinking about the guy who books the show. Is that or is that not fair? We'll start with Madison Jay.
Triple H is the answer to everything. You know what I mean? The ticket price is Triple H fault. Booking, granted, he is the head booker, but it's, mind you, I got a whole staff of people that, you know what I mean, kick ideas. But it's your fault, Triple H. And it's wild. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm just like, damn, bro. Mind you, with great power comes great responsibility. You know what I mean? Mind you, he set himself up, you know what I mean, in position to get this role, even with the, you know, the elevation from Vince and whatnot in his latter years, getting Triple H in position. This is something that we just through documentaries and interviews, we see that Triple H, you know, this is something that he's always wanted. But at that same time, with that power, just the responsibility that comes with it. Yes, like you just listed, you know, things that have nothing to do with this man. People are just going to blame him. Mind you, you're the guy that we see all the time. You're the guy who's doing the pointing next to incoming talent and new champions. You're the guy who's doing the voices. You're the guy who's doing the intros. You're the guy who puts himself out there to take these things. So it's like, at the same time, does he deserve them? No. But he is just the easiest face in order to rain down the fury on. Nick Khan, he's second in command to rain down the fury on. And there's still people who are still talking about Vince. You know what I mean? They're still, this man, from what I know, he doesn't have anything to do with the damn company. So it's like, why are you bringing up Vince? He's been gone, you know, but.
Because his daughter's still in the picture?
Hey, that's the daughter. But it's like, but again, there's an easy pipeline there. Mind you, your son-in-law, your daughter is there. What the hell? Why wouldn't you? This is, but again, semantics, man, semantics. But yeah, I do have a small slither of sympathy for Triple H because it's just certain things that he's just gonna get blamed for regardless. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, bro, you know, I don't have anything to do with that. But it's just something that I even back to him being champion, I'm pretty sure it's just something that he's always taken on the chin of just like, hey, man, you were put in position to do, you know, to be champion, or you don't deserve that. You're Sean's shadow, you're elite B squad, DX. This isn't important, you know, all these things. But one thing Triple H does do, at least publicly, is he's danced through the pressure. You know what I mean? He's always Gregory Hines with this. He's able to kick those political quotes. He's able to, you know what I mean, keep it politically correct and just able to, you know, maneuver through that pressure. And I do salute him for that because at the end of the day, regardless of anybody in that seat, it's going to be a hot seat. So he does, he handles it well, at least like I said, in public. But is Triple H to blame, man? Hell no. You can't blame that man for everything when he is not even responsible for everything.
What do you think, Gold?
One of my favorite quotes, man, and I know y'all know this because y'all hip-hop heads too, the quote from American Gangster when the guy was like, Frank Lucas was talking about, I guess what happened when they took a photo of him. And then he said, so, success took a shot at you because you were successful. Comes with it, man. So just like it the same way corporate world, you know, the corporate world, they hire you to be the CEO or the manager or something, man. And you say like, oh, well, you got to cut these managers' salary by 5%. you got to face that heat. Goddamn KFC don't taste the same no more. Damn, you, Colonel. This chicken sucks now. What do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Somebody has to take the heat, bro. So it sucks, but it is what it is, and I'm sure he knows what he signed up for, man. And salute to him, because we know Triple H love this shit, bro. Like, we know he wants to make it the same product of what we grew up on, and he's doing his best. And sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Just like I think Raw was a good show last night.
Mhm.
Match between Dragon Lee and Gunther, that shit was
It
beautiful.
really was, man.
But I think that was them trying to make up for, oh man, maybe they didn't like Elimination Chamber, so let's kick it up a notch. Same thing for
Mm.
WrestlePalooza. WrestlePalooza kind of sucked. What was after WrestlePalooza?
Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
It was fire though.
The Crown Jewel was fire.
Yeah. So it's hit and miss, man. Like I said, they're throwing spaghetti against the wall, and it sucks because when you're the face of something, man, you got to take all the heat. Just like you see with artists and their entourages, they'll one homeboy do some bullshit and they say, "Oh, Jeezy did this."
Right,
No, he didn't.
right.
His homeboy did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you the face, unfortunately, you got to take all the heat, and that sucks. But like I said, I think he knows what he signed up for, and hang in there, bro.
Yeah, I definitely think those business decisions, even the PLE format, the pricing models, the media rights strategy, the advertisements, those are all decisions made by people even above his pay grade.
He's a shield, no pun intended.
Right. But somebody got to hold that bag, and wrestling fans are going to direct that heat towards Triple H. And it's definitely unfair. But do you feel as if, we talked about just all the things TKO are doing financially, economically, and whatnot. Do you feel as if this is also having an effect on his creative freedom?
I'm sure they have some say so, because when I watched the episode of Unreal, the John Cena term was him, Khan, and John Cena, and The Rock. Like, they all was in a phone conversation, texting back and forth and getting the okay. And then everybody had to say okay before they move forward with it. So I think so.
What do you think, Madison Jay?
Do you remember when Jay-Z, I'll say this, mind you, when Jay was running, J Dame and Biggs, when they were running Rockefeller. And then when the era of Jay, when he then went over to be president of Def Jam. The Jay-Z Rockefeller era is NXT. And this era right here is Def Jam. That Def Jam era, people, mind you, you're looking at what the success that Jay had with Rockefeller and all these artists. Like, damn, we saw what you did with Cam. We saw what you're doing with Beanie Siegel. We see, we just see what you guys are doing, even just with Jay-Z himself. Then he goes to Def Jam. Mind you, now you have to work with LL Cool J. You're working with Method Man and Redman. Not necessarily your homeboys, but now it's like it's business. So like I said, Triple H, he had a high track record in the NXT, the black and gold era. Mind you, highly revered. It's a time period that is still talked about to this day. A lot of people, a lot of guys, one of the highlights of their career is the NXT gold and black era, black and gold era, excuse me. So again, when we get into that space of now, Triple H is like, hey, well, the success you had there, do it here. You know what I mean? On the main roster. One thing that I always kind of look at is like, so you're telling me that Triple H was able to do what he was able to do in NXT, he can't do it on the main roster? And he's got more resources, he's got more seasoned players to work with, and you're telling me that that can't translate? Because it always boggles me of how the NXT guys, once they move up to the main roster, back in the Vince era, when it was Triple H on NXT and then you move up and dealing with Vince, that made a little bit more sense. But you're telling me that you have a guy with his best friend in the developmental stage, and there's a they're lost in translation of when it does. That makes sense to me. That's where I'm looking at. There has to be some type of creative stifleness going on from another entity, because I'm like, that's just weird. So is Triple H and Shawn Michaels beefing to where they're lost in translation? No, we see that there's a rapport going on. We see there's still that relationship. Mind you, that's the reason Shawn was probably put in position, is because off the strength of Triple H. So again, That's like a clear telltale sign for me of like, okay, there's still something above, like you said, VS, there's something above his pay grade to where he can't fully be the Triple H that he has the track record of being. So it's the more we keep talking about this, man, it's starting to remind me of WCW. This really reminded me of WCW early days of just having people in a business minded space trying to bring them to wrestling and damn near like self sabotaging the product. And it's weird to see
Right.
because I've been watching a lot of just WCW videos recently. And that was one of them
Mhm.
of just like, hey man, you had a bunch of people who were successful in one industry thinking they can bring that model and bring that whatever they had in that era to wrestling, and they just did not go together. And the company, damn near went out outside of the actual,
Yep.
But this is eerily, and it's a thing of where on the outside you're like, well, man, business must be booming, everything's good. There's never going to be a possibility of that, but if any of the situations we've heard about companies almost going out of business, is like, man, no, there's no way. It's impossible.
Mhm.
But this just it's too eerie to me. It's too eerie. And even with the factor of like, oh yeah, sales are doing well, and stocks and all this stuff, bro. There is something like that really years if they keep doing things like this, that yeah, man, WWE could be kaput.
Too many hands in the pot, bro.
Too many.
Too many.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to regret that merger. I think the real testament where we're going to see some chips in the armor will be after the Saudi WrestleMania.
Mm.
That's going to be sold out, guaranteed. I think this WrestleMania will still somehow hit its capacity. But
And that's something else. I'm glad you said that too. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. But
go ahead.
how much is Riyadh season invested into TKO?
I'm surprised they ain't bought the shit outright yet.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for that train to arrive at the station.
It ain't a matter of time.
But yes, it's something to factor in.
I said it's a lot, bro. It's just like too many damn hands, bro. Too
Yeah,
many.
it's a lot. So I had mentioned earlier that being in Chicago gave me this feeling that they're pricing out the old fans and trying to program new ones. So think about this. Someone starts watching WWE on Netflix in January 2025. They've never seen a 10-match card. They've never paid $40 for a pay-per-view. They don't have any frame of reference for what this product used to cost or what this product used to deliver. So are they being programmed to accept less? And if WWE successfully builds that audience, what happens to us? You first, Gold.
Man, might convert to a different brand if it just keeps getting ridiculous. Like I said, just the pricing with the pay-per-views every month, the whole having to buy the whole package was enough for me, man. I was cool, like I said, with the monthly Peacock package.
Mhm.
I thought that was fair. And then I'm already paying for Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So that's already like what, $25? And then I gotta pay
Mhm.
another 15 on top of that just to have an app that I don't even like use like that just to watch one show a month on it. It's pretty crazy, bro.
Madison Jay, what's going on in your mind, Grapes?
Where are we headed, man? I'm saying, where are we headed?
Where do we go from here?
I'm so sincere, because you're phasing them out. You know what I mean? You're phasing a old fan base out. And it's just similar to the phasing of the territory days. That
Mhm.
was slowly phased out to now it's hey, on a national level now.
Mhm.
Now we're getting phased out of this era. And it's funny because it's literally happening, before our eyes. And it's just so
Mhm.
funny when things change and they're literally right in front of you. And then when you go back and look, you're like, oh, like, damn it, things did change up and change. And it's wild because we, as wrestling fans within us three, we've seen a lot of changes within the wrestling industry on a broad
Mhm.
scale. And this is one of those changes, man, that's just gonna go down in history because it is a new era, it is a new time. And it's also it's a test of just like our wrestling fandom. You know, what are the limitations that it can go? What can we take? What can't we take? And for me, I've been tapped out from WWE, at least being 100% for quite a few years now. Just more or less a lifestyle change, you know, being more into fatherhood, artistry, my taste, my time, just wrestling in general has just, you know, grown. But then also with the rise of AEW, you know, it's just taking my attention, my full attention. Mind you, we've had just straight WWE at the pinnacle for quite a few years now with the death of WCW. You know, obviously TNA, Ring of Honor, you know, Lucha Underground. Many things have tried to stand up and hold a candle to WWE, but AEW coming in has definitely provided, like people have said, provided that alternative. I just think if Tony Khan is very smart, which he is doing, but just, you know, being the other side of the coin, having cheaper prices, being more family friendly, more consumer friendly, being more wrestler friendly, you know, these are things that's like, hey, WWE, just take note, be mindful, because this is a situation where it could be the tortoise beating the hare, using the slow grind to eventually beat out David against Goliath, the
Mhm.
little engine that could type of story. But WWE, if they're not careful, just because I honestly, the more I really think about it, like each month passes, I'm just like, man, there's nothing on a, mind you, it has its moments, but in the grand scheme, there's nothing that's really good coming out of WWE, you know, and it's been like that for kind of a little bit now. And I just, again, you know, I'm not good with the financial side. I don't know their intel and information, but I just, from a personal and internal, I'm like, there could be trouble on the horizon if they don't tighten up very soon.
I agree. I agree. I think their creative peak, at least, was probably 2024.
Mm,
Um,
bloodline.
Wrapping that story up, I think the stories were really good. They had a chance to do that with the Cena thing, and they made the most that they could with it.
Right.
But the product's definitely not as good as it was from an emotional investment. Doesn't mean they can't get back to that part. You know, wrestling is cyclical, so it has these up and down periods. But right now, with the product's quality in a downward trend, while prices are going up, and these guys are they're making all their numbers. Their growth is crazy. Again, they got all these deals with media rights, all these different networks, merch, and they got these wrestlers on these different contracts. They scaled down, but they're making more, and now they're targeting a wealthier type of audience that they may not have the same. Uh,
Passion.
the audience that they're trying to cater to requires less in terms of nostalgia and
Yeah.
history or emotional connection. But
Microwavable stories, man.
right. So is that viable long term? I don't know. That's why I question, like, let's look at the state of the business after next year's WrestleMania. Because next year's WrestleMania, again, it's a guaranteed sellout. But between this one and that one, we just need to keep our eyes open and see what they
Mm,
do
mhm,
and see if we're going to be in trouble for WrestleMania 44,
right.
whatever city they choose to do that in. The state of the business might be drastically different 3 years from now. Yeah. 2028?
Yeah.
Yes, things gonna be a lot different in the whole world, period.
Yeah.
This conversation started to make me get me down.
Well, hey, right. Like, damn, it's looking dreadful for you. Yeah, okay. We need to spice up our lives a little bit.
All right, we're
We're down the rabbit hole, man.
yo, listen, man, this shit is
Real though,
Real.
yeah.
this shit real is very deep. So I got my last section here so we can wrap up this doom and gloom part right here. Between the three of us, we've been watching this product for probably a combined 90 plus
Mm,
years. You would concur?
mhm,
And
mm.
we've absorbed every change this company has ever made. Monday Night Wars, Attitude Era, PG Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, Network Era. And every single time we complained, we kept watching, and we eventually adapted. And WWE knows that, and they are counting on that history. They are banking on the fact that the most loyal fans are also the most reliable ones. So here's the question that I want to end on, and I want honest answers. At what point does loyalty become complicity? Are we the silent majority that keeps accepting less and enabling this? Or is there something that we can actually do about it? Start with you, Madison J.
That's a good ass question.
It's funny that you mentioned this because I've actually spoken on this before about the old the old term of if such and such doesn't win, we riot. And it's like in all of wrestling, I've only heard maybe about like 3 real riots. And anytime to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna riot if such and such doesn't win. So even to the point of where it's like even society, like yo, revolution and people standing up. And at the end of the day, no, we there have been many stances that have been taken, marchings, things of that nature in the current era. But in terms of a real revolutionary, where got to get a little dirty, got to get a little funky. The complacency. We are in a era of where complacency is king because people are
Mhm.
comfortable. People are used to being spoon fed things. People are used to what they're used to. What are how are we going to get into a level of growth? And I've said this also before because there's always that reliance on nostalgia. Relying too much on the past nostalgia, it gives no room for the future and wish you with the future for which you are creating. And it's like, I say that because, hey, there has to be some type of emphasis on what is next. What's the next thing? We're seeing those steps of, okay, this is what the next thing is. But then it's also like,
Mhm.
okay, there needs to be some type of resistance. Like I said, with these ticket prices, we got to be like, no, we're not purchasing. You know what I mean? We're gonna take a stance so that the sales can be decreased. So obviously that'll be a tall tale sign for them. Hey, let's tap in, get some feedback. Hey, we want cheaper prices on tickets, things of that nature. Hey, bring back the WWE network or have some type of service to where everything is again in one place and we're not spending all this extra bread. But again, it's a thing
Mhm.
of the complacency and we're all guilty of it. That comfortness, that comfortability. But I think it's a matter of just literally with everything in society, there has to be some type of radical stance taken to show that, like, you know what, we're not going for this anymore. So just like within society, mind you, we know who we have, who's at the helm of the country. The same way of taking that stance, we have to do the same thing with wrestling as well. Of just like, again, I'm good. I see a lot of guys that are very serious about, hey, WWE, this is the stance that they're taking. Hey, I'm good on that. Mind you, Mick Foley, we saw, his stance. We've seen other guys,
Mhm.
other and females as well, who took in the stance of just like, I'm not even rocking with them for what they stand for outside of just wrestling. So when you even
Mhm.
factor in on the wrestling side of it, again, what they're doing in terms of the product, because there are people still there that again are maybe again what we're talking about. They're comfortable. Hey, I'm eating good over here. You know what I mean? I might not be doing creatively what I want, but hey, I've got a great paycheck. You know what I mean? Again, I'm able to take care of my family. I'm able to provide. I'm able to, live above a normal means, and that's cool with me. I don't have to be on TV or whatever the case may be, but I just think that there has to be some stance from fans in regards to making a radical change. One day being like, all right, May 5th is the day PLE is going on. Hey, nobody's buying that PLE. No one's going to that. We're going to take a stance and just see, again, see what changes can be made because unless there is action taken, it's just going to be the same hamster wheel spinning over and over. And who's going to get the short end of the stick every time? Us as the fans.
I agree. Gold, what are your thoughts?
Boy, man, we're gonna be on this motherfucker all night. I mean, I'm sure y'all can agree with this. Just like now, how we can sit here and have a conversation for like how long has it been? Maybe like 2 hours?
Hour 27.
How many people do you come across where you can have like a conversation like this?
Not many.
Not many, right?
Not many.
So I think substance has become a thing of the past, man. And like Madison Jay said, people are just so used to being spoon fed and told what to like, told what to do, told what to believe. We just got to keep doing stuff like this. We got to keep doing stuff like this. We got to keep having these conversations. We got to keep like sharing these links and connect them with the people who have an open mind and keep speaking our opinions and start taking a stance, like Madison said, like the next PLE, if it do something crazy, like they up the price here, I'm like, no, I'm not watching it no more, man. Or the tickets keep going crazy. Like, you know what, man? I'm not gonna go to that event because the more that we keep like feeding into it, the more we're validating this behavior. And then they're just gonna keep moving the goalposts more and more and more, and to the point where it's just like, yo, I'm literally going broke staying a fan. And that is insane, but that's exactly where it's getting to. Like you said, like when I saw that ticket jump, I was like, wow, $325. Like, and it had to be like in 3 weeks, bro.
Yeah, that's
In
disgusting.
3 weeks, it jumped that crazy. And I thought about you when you was like, man, I had these tickets just go crazy out of nowhere. And to me, that definitely put things in perspective. So I was still like, I'm excited that I'm going, but at the same time, it's like, damn, if I would have waited a little longer, I wouldn't have went. Because that's just, to me, that's just outrageous, man. Like I said, for it to just be like a SmackDown event, man, no, I wouldn't have paid almost $1,000 for that seat. That would have been crazy. But when I do go, I want to have a nice seat because I actually want to be in the action and enjoy myself. Like I want to get a bomb ass ticket, but I also want to pay a reasonable price for it. But I think at the same time, we're like still loyal to a fault is because we're still chasing that childhood love when we first started watching it, and we're still being hopeful that it'll still stay good. But at the same time, it's like we're being realistic and saying, when too much is too much, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna say I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
I don't like what it stands for. I don't like how people have been manipulated into like paying outrageous prices or being mildly entertained and paying $40 a month for a PLE. Like, let's quit with the bull, you know?
Right.
uh-huh.
Like really get back to like entertaining the fans. I know you're gonna make your money. That's the thing. They're going to make their money. So I don't see why they could come up with some kind of plan to like, at least cut it by 20%, 25%. Like cut these crazy prices we be having. I'm sure they can work something out. It ain't like they pockets hurting right now.
No, not at all. I really think that a cut to the prices definitely is a need, but also year-over-year growth is important. And slow increases in prices, I understand that year-over-year, but not in increments as large to where we're doubling prices or
Yeah,
tripling prices
Right.
or
yeah,
dynamically switching them up. To me,
yeah,
that's a little bit too much, especially when you're having these premium live events, but the product right now is far from premium.
yeah.
And we gotta get that built up to where the cost is justified because 'cause you're not communicating the value. And this whole conversation started around value. Are we really
Mhm.
getting what we're paying for and what we're investing in? I don't think so. And it's kinda weird because they're not the only game in town, but they're still the big dog.
Right.
I remember when, WCW went out of business, ECW went out of business, all we had until TNA came around was WWE. It reminds me of when, the Madden football game got the exclusive NFL football license. So no more
Mhm.
NFL Blitz, no more NFL 2K, no more NFL Fever. You can only play Madden, and people had to adapt to that. We're in a position now where we actually have viable competition in their own lane doing big things, and we got to start supporting those other groups like AEW, like TNA, this resurgence of TNA, support the big indies like NWA, Power, MLW, of course, your local indie within your state.
Right.
WWE is a machine. It's been a machine.
Oh yeah,
And we're not trying to on the talent. The talent are doing their job.
Absolutely.
we're getting to the chicken, man.
They're doing their job. It's the system around them that's changing. And these conversations, I'm glad we had it to bring it to the light for more people to, give us their opinion on it.
Yeah,
because we still got to hold WWE accountable.
Absolutely.
Do you remember? I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but it's when Vince was still in charge. Do you guys remember that one Raw? I guess fans were complaining so much about the product that Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, and Shane were all in the ring acknowledging that the product was sucking and saying, hey, we're going to give you better TV. Y'all remember that?
I absolutely remember that moment.
And I forgot what the catalyst was, but I think that was in the Roman Reigns vest era.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get that ever again. But that was significant. That was a significant acknowledgement of the fans' voice. But now we got to be vocal through our wallets and Apple Pay.
You're right.
Take it to the media.
They're cracking down on signs. They're cracking down on chants. They have the power to, manipulate these things to the eyes via media. Mind you, people who are there live are able to be like, hey, man, they piped in noises, or we weren't saying that, or we were saying this during that. But one thing that you cannot, and mind you, that's usually how you defeat people in this realm, is through the pockets, hurting them financially. So I think that's really where the stance and where the revolution is going to have to be drawn at, is just through the pockets of just, hey, not supporting, not investing in, and just showing strength and solidarity through those means.
They're going to have to feel some pain. The question is, if we start hurting them with live event attendance, it really does nothing to the media rights, right? But would that force them to make creative changes, which still may not justify the cost, but would that make them want to make the product better? What's more important to us, a better product or accessibility and affordability?
I just think about the product, because it's gonna quantify. It's gonna make sense then if I'm investing into it, because it could still be cheap, but then it could be some in terms of the product. McDonald's level, and it's like, well, what good is that then? I might as well hit up Red Robin, or hit up, like you said, go Applebee's. Hit something, hit something like that up. And might as well step the quality up if I'm gonna, get that. But
100%, man. Quality over quantity, man. Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. I agree 100%. This was a dope conversation, and expect more like this to come from the HHW fam. I want to give a special shout out to my co-hosts, Mr. Stephen Gold and Madison Jay. And it is time for the plugs. Stephen Gold, can you let the fine people in the HHW fam know what you got out there for them to enjoy and consume?
Yo, beautiful hip hop heads, man. I got so much music out right now. I have Stephen Gold AU and Stephen Gold AU Dose, both available on all streaming platforms. Produced by my homie Streety Baby, my brother, longtime friend. Go cop that right now, stream it anywhere you can find it, any streaming services.
And Mr. Madison Jay, can you please let the HHW fam know what you've been cooking lately?
Well, been cooking up a lot of dope work. Currently, the new album, Still No Matter What, it is available. It's on all streaming platforms, but most importantly, if you really want to support, you really want to invest, you really want to uplift, you go to stillnomatterwhat.com and, go directly through the source. I told you, this year is all about strengthening the level of independence. We're trying to take away the power of the digital streaming platforms. Much love to you platforms. Thank you for the accessibility, but I need me shillings. I need me coins. I need me shillings. So, with that being said, hey man, cop directly, strictly from the source, man. When you holler at that man Gold, holler at him direct. Get all that product straight direct, so that we can continue to, facilitate and give you some dope product, man. We're always gonna make sure we give you the best to the fans. So make sure you go and support both, not only S.Gold, support Madison Jay, and we appreciate you guys supporting the podcast as well, Hip Hop and Wrestling. There is none out there that is better. We will challenge any, but we will keep it respectful to a certain degree. But y'all know who is the hottest thing smoking out here, and that's just me talking to for the fellas, man. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You're not getting this level of insight. You're not getting this level of coolness, this level of machismo anywhere else. But here in Hip Hop and Wrestling, man, and you see them.
Yes. Look at that shirt. That shirt is fantastic. Hey, HHW fam, do you want that shirt? I'll tell you where you can get it at hiphopandwrestling.com or hiphopwrestling.com. Both links will take you to the same destination. You can get this hat, get that shirt, a lot of cool merchandise. So please support the channel through rocking your favorite hip hop and wrestling shirt at your favorite wrestling event or hip hop show or at the gym, or wherever you want to rock cool t-shirts. Make a statement. So other than that, Gold, did I forget anything?
You forgot to say peace.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Peace.
Throw my chains on for this
Look,
one, man.
I say congratulations to myself with a pat on the back. I'm happy for me. Hating for you niggas that rap a 16 straight off the dome. That's all that it takes. I'm all for the cake. You're talking to the heart of the state. And you niggas can't spit. Y'all just all in the way.